Hey everybody, welcome to We Run on Reruns. I'm Amanda and I'm here with my brother Eric.
How's it going, everybody? We are here with, I guess, what you can call the very final Stranger Things episode for We Run on Reruns, as we are kind of wrapping everything up with a nice tidy bow as best we can, with some more burning questions that we have to ask or answer or attempt to answer. We've got a tier list coming your way of the main characters instead of the side characters, which we did last time. And we have our review of our favorite episodes with our very final question: would you rewatch it again?
Yes. And we kind of recapped a few questions last week about the monsters. Where did they go in the Upside Down? Like, what was up with Dr. K's military group just kind of vanishing into the ether, and why didn't we get more of a storyline there? And then what happened to some of the other side characters? Were we okay with not getting a whole lot of details? So we kind of went into our opinions on some of those areas, talked about some other areas where we know some of the fans have had some issues too. So just kind of a fun talk to wrap up some of those areas, but I definitely look forward to getting into more of the tier listing. And Eric did a really fun what was that, the March Madness style?
Yeah, like a bracket style breakdown of the most memorable moments in Stranger Things, or at least Amanda's most memorable moment in Stranger Things. Right. Which, if you want to hear it, you're going to have to go back and listen to the last podcast, because it was kind of funny. And I'll tell you what, she had some upsets. Well, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Well, I didn't even know what I was doing at first, guys.
No, you didn't.
I didn't
it was
realize
very obvious.
that. I didn't know that. When I chose one or the over the other, the one that I was knocking out was knocked out forever.
Gone.
So
gone and not coming back. Yeah, that's how it works.
With Eric as my brother, I really should have a better grasp on how March Madness brackets work at this point.
Yeah. At least a tournament bracket in general.
Yeah, I've done a lot of these over the years, against my own will. Yep. But it's okay. It's okay. I found my way. I'm sticking with my choices.
I think when it was
for better or worse.
When it was all said and done,
it ended okay.
Yeah. When it was done, you ended up with what you wanted to have as some of the best moments going against each other. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I stand by it. But yeah, please, if you haven't had a chance to listen to that, please go back, check it out. Let us know what you think. And, if you enjoy our podcast, if you like what we're doing here, please throw us some 5 stars. It really goes a long way to making us more visible to other people. We're still trying to grow this community out, have more listeners like you join us. Takes a few seconds. Please go in, give us some stars. We really, really appreciate it. And we also want to announce today at the top of this podcast that we are going to start talking about the Big Bang Theory next week. Woo! So that's the next show that we've decided to kick off. We are super excited to talk about it. We're both huge fans of the Big Bang Theory and all the nerdiness that comes along with it. So, oh man, I'm a big Sheldon Cooper fan.
Well, who's not? Right? He's just one of these iconic sitcom characters at this point that we have to bring up.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe similar to Ross, kind of hard to love at a lot of points. Dude, calm down.
I mean,
this is insane in very different ways than Ross.
Yeah,
but, you know what I'm saying here.
He's so unique. I don't know if I could compare him quite to Ross, but I understand what you're saying when you say that. He is just a unique guy. But before we dive into all of that, I just wanted to remind you all, if you could leave a 5-star rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast player you're listening to.
Eric.
You did that already. But I want to add in also, when you do that.
Oh, okay.
If you could drop a comment if you are enjoying this podcast and the one we did last week, because in all honesty, these are the first 2 that we've done where we haven't run down an episode. So if you'd prefer this model, you need to let us know, because we're not really breaking down any sort of model, any sort of episode here. We're just kind of talking about the show. And if you prefer that, let us know, because it helps us kind of form what we're doing as we go forward.
Yes. Very true. Very true.
So yes. And listen, you can never hear to drop a 5-star rating too many times.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. I just, I didn't know if you just weren't listening to me, Eric.
Well, that does happen from time to time, but no, I'm with you. I'm tracking. I just want to make sure that we leave comments about the appropriate things.
Yeah, we both struggle with a touch of ADHD, so I was just checking in more than anything.
Listen, I just wanted to add a sample there, because listen, it is new for us to be doing this. Usually we have an episode that we're running down, and
that's true.
I think there is definitely a group of the podcast listening community that doesn't want to necessarily hear the episode play by play. And so if you'd rather hear it like this, then when we review an episode, we just won't do the rundown of the episode, and we could do it more of this style. So just let us know what you guys are thinking as we go, and we'll continue to adapt to what the people are looking for.
Yeah, it's and more our Friends podcast, if you're familiar with that one. We do touch on like a synopsis of what the episode is about, but we more than talk about like little moments that we liked, or, highlights and stuff like that. So we would definitely appreciate your feedback on just the type of content that we're putting out there, the format of the show. And we're totally open-minded and open ears for what you guys are thinking, what you enjoy, what kind of keeps you listening to a podcast. And I know the opinions vary wildly out there, and so we're still trying to get to know you guys and what we can do to provide the best type of show. So with Stranger Things, totally nerded out. And if you really like a deep dive into each episode, we delivered on that, because we really broke down every episode like in depth. We really went like point by point through the episode, which I know was really fun and kind of necessary in my opinion, for a show that it's like, if you miss certain details, it just doesn't make as much sense anymore, right? So for a show like that, it's like, wait. Yeah, it's because there's a lot, and there's still a lot of stuff that I feel like, man, that I don't know, it could be left open to the viewer as to how to exactly interpret that.
Well,
so
I think there are things that I will see and I will say, listen, that's open to interpretation, and somebody else will be able to be like, well, 17 episodes ago there was this statue on someone's desk that made it look like that, and that is, I hear you with a lot, but I also try to keep my thought process in like the general viewer standpoint, which is why what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to have an issue with on one of our burning questions.
Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
Okay. So here are our 3 burning questions. These are questions that I kind of used Reddit and the internet and some Gemini to come up with what are the things that people were most bothered by at the end of Stranger Things. And we talked about 3 of those things in our last podcast, and here are 3 more burning questions that we've got. I'm going to start here with the first one, and that is, of course, are you okay that 11 is the only one that died from the main group, if you want to consider the fact that she died?
I mean, okay. So, Eric, you and I talked about at length, I feel like Jonathan and Nancy being taken out in that scene that made sense to no one, with what I call the Titanic scene.
Yeah.
Where they're on the table. I just feel like I wasn't the person that like needed people to be taken out, but that just made sense for the storyline. in my opinion. And I think it would have added a level of desperation, probably shifted the tone in maybe a way that they were trying to avoid.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, now we're grieving family in addition to having to like save the world, you know? And I feel like maybe that's why they didn't do that. But I think I think that was a mistake. I think having them die would have just raised the stakes, but also added an element of realism, because the idea that no one else died throughout all of this chaos is kind of wild, you know?
I think we have to start with what we know at this point, which is we have since heard from the Duffer Brothers, who have said that, listen, they didn't want to make this show like Game of Thrones, where you had to have main characters dying all the time, which unfortunately I feel like Game of Thrones has set the precedent that you need to have main characters dying regularly. And
okay, if that was a risk, they would have killed someone off like season 1. Will would have been dead.
Well, you know what I mean? This is what I'm saying. Like, you know, they have clearly set in motion the idea that that wasn't going to happen. Now, that being said, if we wander down a world in which they could have said, no, we're going to kill off some of these main characters, I think Jonathan and Nancy dying on the table would have been number one, like the thing that should have been. And I, when we went through that episode, I said at the time, I feel like that should have been the moment. And there was nothing really after that either of them did that was noteworthy. Now, I will walk that part back a little bit, because I think having Jonathan in the scene where Will comes out to the group was important.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
So you could have reordered some events here to make that a little bit more plausible.
Make that happen.
But that's really the only thing. I don't think anything Nancy did afterwards, including stepping out and saying, I'm the bait, I don't believe that she's the number one answer for I'm the bait.
Yeah, it could have been anyone in that.
Well,
moment.
No.
Yeah.
I think you could have killed off Nancy and Jonathan on the table. And then who is our number one hero person? It's Steve.
Steve
Should have stepped out and said, I'm the bait. Like, no
that would have made
doubt.
Sense.
That would have made so much more sense to me. And then if the Mind Flayer kills Steve in his final act as babysitting, protecting the rest of the group, it would have been fine.
Yeah. You know what it was? I feel like they really wanted to end this show with still the core group alive and well and moving on.
Obviously.
You know what I mean?
Obviously.
Like, it just would have completely upturned the end of the finale, right? Like the epilogue would have been very different.
But I feel like you could have ended the story by killing off Nancy and Jonathan. You could have killed Steve in that moment, standing in front, like standing between the Mind Flayer and his children, right?
Yeah.
And you would have ended the story still with Will, Mike, Max, Lucas, and Dustin playing D&D, and that, like, your core group of kids would have made it out alive as they were the ones playing the game and telling the story.
I know.
And,
my God.
And you would have lost some characters, but also not lost the main group, right?
Yeah. I think, I can definitely see that. I am glad that Steve wasn't taken out. I feel like Dustin would not have survived that.
Everybody, like social media at that point was like, if Steve dies, I'm never going to watch television again, you know? And that was how people felt.
That would have been rough.
But you know what? Yeah. That's why he needed, because everybody would have been so mad, but at the same time, that's really what they were looking for.
The hero going out.
The hero going out.
Yeah.
Like,
which is why I think they tried to do that, obviously, with 11. Having the real, like, the superhero of the group who was not like she's the one who kind of in a sense like started it all, right? Like she was before 11 entered the picture, none of this even was going down, and now she's here and now she's gone, and now the story is really over.
From
you know what I mean?
From a storytelling standpoint, having like, say what you want, but Kali was right. You know, 11 had to go down. She had to go down with the rest of the Upside Down. Otherwise, it's a story that never ends. And maybe you want a story that never ends and they could just keep running back different like seasons of Stranger Things forever. But that's
well, and
not...
I've seen that floated out there by it's like, hey, were they keeping the core group alive because like this isn't really over? And honestly, I would not be surprised if that was part of the motivation, knowing how like really shows and movies like don't seem to end these days. You know what I mean? It's like there's always someone trying to milk a storyline for more content and for more views and whatever. So it's like, I don't know.
Listen,
that could be part of the motivation.
If you're going to tell me 5 years from now, there's a Stranger Things movie with all of them, including 11,
wouldn't be surprised.
I am not shocked, and I would go see it.
I'm watching it.
Absolutely. But I think you could have, listen, am I okay that 11 is the only one that died from the main group? Yes. Would I have yes. Would I have liked to have seen a couple other people go along the way? Yeah. And and I know there were people talking about how I saw a whole Reddit thing about people talking about how Murray should have had this funny death. And I mentioned that in the last podcast. And you could have killed off Murray, but like
in a blaze of glory.
In a blaze of glory, for sure. But if you had just killed off Murray, that would not have been like the death I'm looking for, right? Everyone was waiting for someone from the core group.
Even Hopper. It's kind
Hopper
of like
could have died.
I could easily.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and actually that was the one that really, thinking back to my first watch of the finale, I was convinced that Hopper was going out. That like he was going to somehow take 11's place in whatever plot she had and like go out for her. You know what I mean? Or they were both going to go out together because he was going to try to save her and it was going to be too late. Something like that, you know?
Well, the Duffer Brothers said the closest they ever came to killing off a main character was Hopper at the end of season 3.
Well, right. Yeah.
When he died at the end of season 3, but wasn't dead, and they brought him back for season 4. First of all, I think that was a mistake.
I like that he came back. I wasn't ready for Hopper to be gone.
Of course not. But that's why it was good.
Yeah.
That being said, you know, I would have been very okay with Hopper dying there. I think you would have given 11 a very different motivation at that point too, and it would have felt different. But I feel like his story arc had closed, and I feel like you and I all through season 4 and season 5 were like, God, Hopper, would you just, you know? And it's like they just didn't have anything to do with him anymore because they had closed his arc.
Yeah.
And in season 3, he was pretty annoying anyway.
I mean, honestly, he was the one character where it's like, wow, we expected we were talking about this off line the other day, Eric and I, about just how we remembered starting the rewatch of Stranger Things, saying to each other, wow, like we didn't like Hopper in this episode, but we know that we're going to love him in so many more upcoming episodes. And we're like, wow, like that didn't.
I know I talked about that when we were talking about favorite characters on our last podcast, where I only had.
Oh, did we mention that?
I did, because I said I only had Hopper as my favorite character one time. Yeah. And I remember thinking that it was like between him and somebody else in like episode 2, and I leaned towards the other person saying, "Oh, well, I know I'm going to pick Hopper a bunch," and I never really did.
It's like,
and in all honesty,
we're not.
He wasn't even really close a lot.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't even in consideration. Don't get me wrong. I think his character was important to the story. It's just that he was never the character that I expected him to be. And I think if he had died at the end of season 3, I think that would have been okay. And you could have just turned the story a little bit, right? Because now 11 has got to cope with this. And she was dealing with it in California. And we saw kind of the fallout of that. Of course, it was all written knowing that he's in a Russian prison and Joyce is out there trying to rescue him from this prison, which is a little crazy. Because we saw everybody in that place get obliterated into particles, and somehow Hopper, standing right next to it, like, firmed that blast, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to hear that.
No.
So, anywho.
But what's the next question that we have here?
The next question is a little bit more the one that I have a problem with. And this is, who is the man with the briefcase in the mine shaft? Like, who is this guy? Like, he ends up being in this mine shaft. We have no idea who he is. He's not connected to anything at all. He has this briefcase, which basically connects Henry to the mind flayer for the first time. Who is this guy?
Yeah, and they don't explain it ever.
No,
and it's
like not even
outside of
it's not like, even kind of explained.
No, like the only inkling that you get to an explanation in the show is that you can clearly tell that it's like you see it going into Henry's hand, right? So you can deduce that it's like, okay, whatever just happened to him here is the moment that shit got like messed up, that things went wrong for Henry, that Henry somehow turned into Vecna. But like beyond that idea, nothing is explicitly said or even shown, and we definitely don't know who this random dude is in the mine shaft just based on the show.
And we see that in previous seasons that Henry like finds the mind flayer and they become one. And Henry is an older Henry, I believe, when he finds the mind flayer. But here we kind of get this opportunity to see that young Henry has kind of been given this mission to go find the mind flayer, and he is now tracking through the abyss for years trying to figure this out. At least that's how it seems to have come off, which is also different because 11 doesn't really age at all until later.
No, and I think the scene that you're thinking about, if I'm not mistaken, is after 11 banished Henry.
Yes.
To the abyss.
Yeah.
Then that's when he actually came face to face with the mind flayer.
So then how did young Henry get to the abyss to this moment to find the mind flayer?
He was mentally connected to the mind flayer, so almost in the same way that Will was.
Okay.
So it's like he was psychically connected to the mind flayer.
This is not the abyss. This is in a memory of his. So we have to keep that. Like he's although the landscape is similar. He's not in the abyss when he's going down the mine shaft. So that could be anywhere.
Right.
When he but he is young Henry getting this like memo to find him, and it's not until 11 banishes Henry. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
That he's able to actually find him.
Yeah. So what this is, and just because I feel like we need to give more context here. This is explained in the Stranger Things The First Shadow, which was the Broadway play that got a lot more in-depth into Henry's background. And it's like, I feel like we should have had like an episode of just going through this because it's so huge to the whole show. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity because I think that this like plot line is really fascinating too. And it's unfortunate to leave all of this out of the show. But So basically it's broken down into 3 sections. The backstory of this man, who's the man in the mine shaft. He is a Soviet spy and a rogue medical scientist working with a secret US military base in Nevada. So essentially he was working for Dr. Brenner. He was part of that whole thing. And the facility was conducting early dangerous experiments with interdimensional travel. So stemming from incidents like the USS Eldridge. Then the theft was he stole this mysterious silver briefcase containing dangerous technology and a glowing mind flare particle, which originally came from this alternate dimension known as, they were calling it Dimension X. We were calling it the Abyss. So in other words, Dr. Brenner's scientists had already been aware and in touch with this area that they're calling Dimension X, we're calling the Abyss, gathered these particles and they were studying them, and they brought them back, and this guy went rogue. He stole a piece of it and ended up falling through the ground, getting trapped in this mine. It's saying the ground collapsed beneath him. He was trapped there. He was wounded. They're calling it the Rachel Caves, or this mine shaft near where young Henry Creel lived. So this was really near his home. And that's where he ended up encountering this guy and getting infected in this moment with the particles. This guy thought that Henry was like, because he was all paranoid, he had just run off with this piece. He thought that maybe the Russians had like sent some child after him just to trick him, and that's why he shot him. So that's kind of the whole context there. We could have used a little bit more of it in the show.
Listen, I'm glad that you've given this rundown so that we can hear what the backstory is to this whole storyline. As I mentioned, not more than 5 to 10 minutes ago, that I try to keep this as a idea with like the casual viewer who is watching and seeing all of the things happen in front of them.
Yeah.
This is insane to me that you would
Right?
do this, that you would
Yeah.
introduce a character
I
who is
know.
carrying a critical piece of evidence, not explain anything at all, and then say, "Whoa, you didn't watch the play?" Like, shut up! Like, get out of here.
I know.
I hate when we start doing this, and I know I've mentioned before. I know Star Wars does this. Like, you've watched the movies, but now there's like the Mandalorian, and there's the Clone Wars, and there's 9 million other Star Wars like universes that people kind of fly through, or maybe it's all the same universe.
And
but
they don't
whatever.
all tie very nicely together either all the time.
They don't tie
sometimes
together
it works.
well. Yeah, there are
Sometimes it
pieces that work and there are pieces that don't. And like it doesn't always make sense. The idea that you're going to have this whole story and go, "Wait, you didn't see the play?" Oh, just get out of here with that. I hate this.
Yeah.
I hate everything about this. I feel like you could have done this. You could have done this same thing without having this guy.
So, and another interesting question that kind of like,
Genuinely, how difficult would it have been to have put somebody else in this spot? Like, could we have put Papa here?
Oh, right.
And just
like with
not
the
have,
at least
not
made it
have
more of a familiar,
have Henry kill him, right? You can't have Henry kill him because we see Papa then do so. But if you would put Papa in this spot with this briefcase and see Henry take the thing, and then Papa survives, like, everybody would have been like, "Okay,
right,
got it."
Yeah.
And then the question would have been, "What's Papa doing in the mine shaft?" But
exactly,
you know what? Fair. I'm still with you, but at least it would have been more understandable. The idea that this is some Soviet spy who is in Papa's, like, oh, get out of here. I just don't even want to hear that.
Yeah, and another interesting question that kind of piggybacked onto this that I saw from other people was that, like, well, why didn't Joyce recognize Henry Creel? Like, she didn't call out, oh, that's that kid from high school, ever.
Fair. Listen.
I didn't even, right? Like, are you just thinking about this for the first time? Because I feel like when I read that, I was like, how did
I didn't even think about that. I didn't even think about that.
Like,
did Joyce never see
never
Henry?
At one point was like, yeah, like, or even knew his name? Like,
did any, I mean, wait, no, Hopper would have seen him.
Yes. Hopper too.
No,
that is one of the biggest plot holes, and I hadn't even really considered it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Like,
not gonna lie,
was like, oh
I didn't think about that either until literally now.
Because his name was even on those,
it was on the flyer.
Flyers that we saw. Yeah. And it's like thinking about Back to the Future and someone saying, "Oh, Biff Tannen, like, who was that?"
Now,
or like,
don't get me wrong. You and I went to a very large high school where I did not know everybody in my high school.
Oh God, no!
I walked down at graduation next to some girl I'd never seen in my life.
Oh, but Henry Creel could have gone to our high school.
Henry Creel could have been at my high school, and I'd never even know it. That being said,
that's not what this was, though. I don't think
no one thinks Hawkins is that.
No,
that school.
Hawkins is where everyone knows everyone.
That's right.
So it's like more like the college I went to.
Now the idea, I guess the idea that Henry Creel lived in Hawkins and he grew up in the same time frame that Joyce and Hopper and the Wheelers and all were all growing up. Like, they should have recognized him. Yes. Like, even if we didn't see that high school clip, they would have been there at the same time. Like, he's definitely younger than they are, but apparently he was in the same high school as them, so maybe he's not.
And if he had already been infected at this point when he was just a young boy, when they were in high school, he would have been like a little bit strange at that point. Right?
Well, but like, this is what I'm saying. Like, he's older than 11 and Mike and Dustin and that crew, right? He's definitely older than them. He's older than Nancy and Steve.
Oh, but he's not as
old as Joyce and Hopper.
No. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry. Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. So they would have like known about him though.
So how's he even at the same high school? Maybe he's just like one of these super smart people that's going to high school at 9 years old. I'm very confused. This is bad.
Guys,
I don't like it.
Does anyone know what this is about?
I'm now mad about this.
Now I'm upset. Yeah.
To be fair, I didn't really like that going back to school scene anyway.
Yeah, I know. Because it's almost like either we needed more of it or like none at all.
I needed none at all. I needed not to see any of that. Like, if you had brought me back to anywhere that wasn't like Henry at high school with then Joyce and that, like, I didn't need any of that. I really didn't. Yeah. Let's move. You've made me angry now.
So I gotta say though, okay, so according to the stage play, Eric, I know you're gonna love this response.
Which stage play are we talking about? We're talking about the actual play?
The Stranger Things play, the Broadway
not the play that was happening in Henry's memory in the high school.
No.
The actual play.
So this is the play where they explain the mine shaft, right? So it's saying, so it's considered canon for Henry Creel, Joyce Byers, and Jim Hopper. They attended Hawkins High School together.
How is this canon? Because
Henry
they showed
briefly attended high school as a freshman in 1959 while Joyce and Hopper were seniors. They crossed paths in a school play.
I don't believe this. I mean, if you want to say that that's what happened, fine. But like,
is he only 3 years younger than them though?
No, he's not.
That doesn't seem right.
No, this is them like writing in a sentence to be like, well, that's how that happened. You guys didn't recognize that? No.
Hopper's like, yeah, he's got at least 10 years. I mean, I don't know. It seems like they have at least 10 years on
scrambling
Henry
to
Cavill.
IMDb right now.
Guys, we're upset.
I'm mad. I'm mad about this idea in general. Let's see. Let's take a quick look. Now, I understand the characters are not the same as the actors.
Yeah, right.
Right. Like, we're all okay with that, understanding that this is the truth here. Hold on. Where is...
I guess he's supposed to be in his early 30s when he manipulates 11, and you find out that he's 001, which I think is the stretch because he doesn't look to be like, to me, he seems like he's more like 22 or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
The
like
actor,
maybe it's just the actor as a baby face. I don't know.
It's possible, right?
Yeah.
But the actor is 13 years younger. 13.
Then what, Joyce?
Then Hopper.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's obvious. I wouldn't be... you could have even convinced me that he was even younger, but yeah.
He's 13 years younger than Joyce. I'm sorry, Joyce, he's actually 17 years younger than Joyce.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I believe that.
Like, what are we talking about here?
I mean, yeah, that's a lot. That's okay. Okay, that wasn't even our third burning question. That was just a random. As we're talking about this,
thing that you brought up now that I'm mad about.
I'm like, I have to bring this up because as we're talking about just this crazy side story,
you know what's funny?
Of the dude in the mine shaft, I'm like, I have to bring up.
In all the stuff that I looked at, that didn't even come up once.
Yeah, I forget what I was watching, and someone or I was reading something, and someone happened to mention it, and I'm like, oh my God.
Now, that being said, let me also just say, for what it's worth, for me, this does not ruin the show at all.
Oh no, I accept it.
But I think back and go, oh man, like you didn't need to do that. Like,
yeah.
But it doesn't now go, oh, can you believe that there was a plot, like they all went to high school together? That's crazy. Yeah. I just look at that and go, move on past this.
Yeah.
Let's keep this great show going. But oh man, that is dumb. Okay.
Yeah, certain things I best not to overthink it.
I try not to overthink a lot. Okay, well, here's the actual third question that we did have lined up for this, which is really my question, I will say. And I know there were some other people out there who are with me on this, and I'm really just looking for your opinion. I'll give mine here. We have seen many side characters enter this show, right? Think about Bob and Billy and Robin and Eddie and all these characters who have come in halfway through and joined the gang for either a short or a long period of time, right? But none of them had the plot gifted to them in the same way that Holly did. And when I say the way that Holly did, Holly in the final season of this show was given her own story. Like,
yes.
Here's Holly. Boom. You have your own story arc with Mr. What's-It, and then you're in the memory with Henry, right? Are you okay with the amount of the final season being such a long arc involving only Holly?
So...
And I actually have an addendum to add to the end of this question that I just saw yesterday on the Stranger Things Reddit that I want to bring up.
Okay.
But go ahead.
You know, it's interesting because I hear definitely where the criticisms are, but I was okay with it. I feel like they use this as a method of because the whole idea, I think, was to bring in the next generation of D&D players, right? Like that was kind of the next generation into this fold where they're going to get involved, and it's going to ultimately be about this game and community and handing this story almost to the next group of kids. And I think that's really maybe what that was centered around. And because that actress, who I do not have her name written down, but whoever played Holly, I thought she was excellent. And I love that they aged her slightly so that they could make this a little bit more realistic too, in that way.
Her name is Nell Fisher.
Nell Fisher, thank you. I think that she's wonderful. Like, if you had definitely cast the wrong person in this role, it would not have worked well, but she really held her own. I feel like she did a great job. I think they wove it enough, like she was still part of the Wheeler family, so it's not like it was someone outside of the group entirely. Like, you knew who Holly was. But and I like that they had her connect with Max, so they also used her as a vehicle to bring Max back. They also used her as a vehicle to like understand who Henry was, so to like tie her into the other side. So yeah, I liked it. I was okay with it. I did not have like a really big issue with it, because I feel like we had not enough, I mean, but it's like in like a way where it's like, oh, like forget about those other guys. But it's like, I just feel like we had a lot of episodes that were purely about that core group that I was okay with branching out.
So I will say I know there are a lot of people that didn't like the storyline. I actually think the storyline was really important, at least to the way that they told this story. They could have changed the entire story, I'm sure, and told it differently. But knowing that we were left with Holly or somebody being taken, and then having to then connect, like the way that it worked was Holly had made this whole relationship with Mr. Whatsit, who we did not know who Mr. Whatsit was, but we knew right out of the gate. This was not a surprise to
no pun intended.
Yeah. Excellent. That was not intended. But we knew who Holly was immediately, or who Mr. Whatsit was right away, because this was not going to be a shock to us. They weren't going to bring in some random person. It didn't feel like. This was obviously Vecna getting to Holly.
Yes.
Having that mechanism in play helped put the story in place that we knew, because the idea, because I know we talked about how the kids didn't want to fight back, but that's because they intrinsically trusted this guy, Mr. Whatsit.
Yes.
Because this had been going on for a little while. Now, what I think my issue is you could have written season 5 in a completely different manner and not had all of this breakdown. Now, I don't know how that would exactly be, because this is the story that we have. But when you see the end of season 4, where they're standing on the hilltop looking down at Hawkins literally burning, it feels like we're in a crisis mode situation. And they come in and they essentially slap a Band-Aid down literally across all of the crevices.
Yeah. Right.
And build up a military base around it. And then we hear that they've been going on all these crawls for 30 times. And it's like, so there's not a crisis moment. This has been going on for a long time. And it feels like now that they've had to build up this Mr. Whatsit's been talking to Holly for a really long time. You know, that this is all like, it just seems a little disjointed. And I didn't need a Holly storyline. I needed more time with Dustin and Lucas and Mike and Will, who, while Will certainly had his time on camera and Mike had a decent amount, Dustin and Lucas, I feel like, got left behind, especially as their season 5 like stories came to an end. As soon as Lucas like gets Max back, it's over. He doesn't have anything to do. And as soon as Dustin and Steve repair a relationship that really didn't need any repairing, if Dustin hadn't gone and fought those guys for no reason at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Like, you could have just written this differently and everybody would have been in a very different spot. Now, that would take a complete rewrite of season 5. But I would rather have seen time given to these characters and like the extra character be Mr. Clark. Or what I saw yesterday, my addendum to this is, why use Holly when you have Erica? Why did you age Holly up? You could have just made it about Erica. And if you had made it Erica's story, where Erica gets trapped by Vecna and she's on the other side, we all know how Erica is. This becomes a very different story. And I think we all like that idea more because we would all love to see an Erica story.
Okay, so I feel like, though, Erica was she knew too much to get wrapped into that storyline.
I agree.
Like, she wouldn't have believed in a Mr. What's-It luring her in and grooming her. Like, she was too old for that, and honestly, not that but she was too smart. Holly was not stupid, but she was just, like, she would have seen through this and not gone for it, you know?
Holly had no reason to think otherwise. Erica's in the know already, right? But
she was almost too old for it. Yeah, like, she was beyond that point.
But the idea, like, if you had said, listen, Vecna needs to, like, capture children, it would have been a more, like, he comes and takes Erica, and, like, watching Erica just, like, backtalk Vecna would have been funny. And then, like, how does she, it would have been a different tone. How does she try and escape this whole thing? And maybe she finds a way to break out of the thing and, like, ends up with Max still. Like, you could have still done a story there, and seeing, like, an Erica Max storyline would have been fun to watch, I think.
Yeah.
It would have absolutely had a fully different tone.
Yeah. Yes.
But, like, you aged Holly up just to do this story, like, quite a few years. And you didn't need to do that. You already had someone who was in that age bracket. Like, and in all honesty, I'm kind of disappointed that Erica wasn't, like, leading the D&D party at the very end.
Yeah. Right. That would have, I was kind of wondering that piece for sure. I do, although that would have, that shift in storyline, we wouldn't have got what I loved, that scene with Mrs. Wheeler fighting off the Demogorgon, and that would have just totally upended that entire plot.
It would have upended the entire thing. But it's like you had a character, like, ready-made for this. But again, I will agree with you. So to the Reddit people talking about this conversation, I think my post into your chat was something along the lines of, Erica knew too much. She'd never be able to, like, pull off this story. You'd have to redo the whole story.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the Holly storyline. I like that Erica's role to me was so much different in the whole Stranger Things universe that I could see her being pulled into the story in a different way. I would have liked her being definitely more of a highlight in season 5, but I like what Holly did here. I liked Derek's character even in season 5. Like, I really liked just the whole idea of, like, this new generation of children being manipulated by Henry, because remember, his whole goal was to go after these young, like, moldable minds. Oh, you're so easily, manipulated, William. You know what I mean? And it's like, so he's not going after Erica.
No.
She's way too smart.
I agree. And that's why it would have taken a complete, like, redo of what they were going to do in season 5. But I do think there is something, or just there's something to this story where you could have scrapped it completely and still got some of the outcomes you got with a very different like amount of time put on different things. Like,
I mean, hey, this is why fan fiction exists. Start writing,
there you go.
you know? Start writing those stories. See,
Well-
and we sometimes get spin-offs like that too. It's like, hey, what if this had happened?
I think there are quite a few of those out there. But with that, let's get into our tier list of our main characters here. Okay, so just like our last episode, we are going to start ranking all of our characters, our main characters. These are characters who existed in at least 25 episodes. There's a pretty good break. Like, there are 14, actually I think there are 15 characters who were in 25 episodes or more. There are then like 13 who ended up in at least 8 episodes or more. So in our last episode, we tier ranked those characters, the side characters who ended up in at least 8 episodes. And that did cut out some of our favorite characters who maybe only appeared in 3 or 4 episodes, like Susie wasn't in our tier list. But here we have the main group. We've got Will, Dustin, Lucas, Mike. We've got Eleven and Max, Jonathan, Robin, Steve, and Nancy, Hopper and Joyce. And we're tossing into this group Murray and Erica, as they both played quite a role over many seasons. Again, S tier is the top tier. Then we've got A, B, C, D, and F. And unlike some people out there, we're going to make sure that somebody ends up in every single tier here. So while we may all look at this whole group and go, yeah, they're all A characters or S characters, well, they can't be. They all rank somehow next to each other. So yes, some of these names are going to end up in the F tier, even though, yeah,
Ouch.
I know. Even though some of them
may have to help me with that, because I don't know.
That's all right. I got some names already. I'm ready to go.
Okay.
But there will be characters in each tier. Now, with that, I kind of reshuffled the dice here, so I feel like we're gonna go through, Erica and Murray first. Then we'll go to the adults, then the older kids, and then the younger kids, in that order. So, knowing that, Amanda, we've done this now.
Yes.
You are aware of how to tier list.
Yes.
So, where do you want to slot Erica in?
So, Erica, listen, I know that she is a fan favorite with a lot of people. I don't dislike Erica.
No.
But I also, she's not one of my top favorites either.
No.
So
I'm not
because
a huge
there
Erica
are some
supporter.
points. Yeah, like when she first came into the storyline, I'm not going to lie. I remember talking about this. I'm like, okay, calm down. Because she was kind of like barking at Murray and like giving commands. And I'm like, oh my God, this is like really random and hilarious. But also I found her like very abrasive. And I was like, wow, like she was just like pushing around poor Lucas. I'm like, man, okay.
Erica in season 3 with the mall, like
Yes,
going through the vents and stuff. I thought that was Erica at her best. After that season, like, it was nice to have her around every now and then, but it wasn't necessarily critical. I will say this. I'm going to put the cap on her at C tier. I don't think she can go any higher than that.
That's what I'm thinking too. Let's put her on C. Let's put her on C. We might even move her down depending on how things
I think
go.
she can move down, but she can't really go any higher.
No. Okay. We're in agreement there because as Eric said, we have to keep people spread throughout this tier list and we only have so many people here. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes.
All right, so
Murray.
now Murray.
Yeah. I love Murray. I'm a big Murray fan. I feel like he added a lot to the show. I think that the show would have been missing a critical like vibe without Murray. And he added a lot of practical things like knowing Russian to the show.
Yeah.
As well.
Murray shows up in season 2?
2. too. Yeah, because he was
as
originally,
like
remember, hired as the investigator for Barb's parents. He was investigating the death of Barb, and
Was
that's
that
how he
him?
came into. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
I know.
He also was the person
Murray
that
Bauman,
Jonathan
special investigator.
that Jonathan and Nancy went to
Right.
get that
Well,
inside info. And I guess he was,
And that's
like,
why.
yeah.
Yeah,
So-
because they knew that he was investigating Barb's death, and they wanted to kind of know what he knew and kind of get a vibe on like, well, what? Yeah,
he was kind of a wild character to have in that season. Then they went and kind of like rallied him for season 3 because they needed to know how to speak Russian, and there's only one guy around that could speak Russian, and apparently it was Murray. So they found Murray again, and then in season 4 he became like a every character guy as he helped Joyce get all the way to Russia and back, basically.
yes, oh yeah.
So
I'm putting him at least in tier A. I feel like that's where I'm at.
okay, we can put him there for now. I think he will be a B tier guy. But because I think he's higher than Erica. But I don't think he's necessarily A tier. But we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out.
Okay.
Joyce.
Joyce, I would put. I love Joyce, but she kind of like didn't like she pulled Will down in a lot of the moments, and I feel like
See
a
where I'm
large
typing
part
her
of,
in?
Yeah.
I'm putting her in the
Okay.
D tier right now. D. Below
Okay.
Erica. Like, you're
I don't
already...
agree with that.
I know you don't agree with it because you like Joyce, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
After season 1, Joyce's role, I feel, was minimal.
Yeah, it became a lot about it's like but an important supporting character. I feel like she's more important than Erica by far though. So if you're putting Joyce in tier D, then Erica needs to go in tier D after Joyce. That's my opinion.
You know, here's
Like
the thing.
there's no way that Joyce
When you
is
say
less
she was an
pivotal
important-
to the storyline. Yeah.
Well, this isn't necessarily about who's the most pivotal to the storyline.
Oh, okay.
It's just like, how do you want to rank them? I mean, you could do it that way.
But what
Who's-
are we ranking them on then? What are
Well,
we
how do
basing
you
this on?
want to rank them?
Well,
Could be just best.
to me it's
What's the best character?
best for what reason?
Best for whatever reason you want to make it.
Just best. Just
Yeah, just best.
based on what?
I don't know. Best vibes. We're
Oh my
besting
god!
on vibes
What is
here.
happening? What?
Listen, Joy,
I feel
agree.
like this has to be like to the storyline. To me, that's how in my mind I'm thinking. Like, how do
Okay,
these people
okay.
rank
Impact the
in
story.
relation to the story? Yeah, yeah,
Well, in that regards, Erica's an F tier character.
yeah.
Like, in that regards,
Yeah.
Erica does not impact the storyline that much.
Yeah, that's true.
But Joyce does have an impact. So if we want to do that, that's fine with me. I'll move Joyce up to C tier for the moment. But then we got to move Erica down. That's not how you
Yeah.
spell Joyce.
Okay. All right. Let's do Joyce in C and Erica.
I'll move
in D
Erica.
then.
I'll move Erica to D for
Let's
the
do that.
moment. But I'm not sure we're going to get a character on this list that's going to provide less to the story than Erica.
Well, okay, it's not just the like provide.
Yeah.
It's like it's more than that though. But
Yeah,
that
it's
has to be
vibes.
to me. That's
Best on
but to me that's part of it, right? Like it's kind of like, all right, well, where would we have been in the storyline without the character? Plus, did we just in general like them? You know what I mean? It's all those things to me.
It's all
that's
what
how my
I'm
mind is
saying.
working.
It's on
Yeah.
vibes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here's the thing. Here's the thing with Joyce, and this is why I have her in D. And I'm not gonna. I will fight to put her lower than C. Like,
Okay.
Joyce is a negative impact on Will his
a little bit of a
whole
negative Nancy.
life.
Yeah.
His whole way through, all she's doing is trying to keep him back from becoming a sorcerer.
It's true. Yeah.
Like, she is in the... How often do we talk about the adults in this group being in the way.
Yeah.
And they're always being like, don't worry, we'll take control of this situation.
I know.
And they have
God.
no idea what they're dealing with. Meanwhile, all the kids were in the know the whole time.
But think about Joyce in the first season.
Joyce in the first season is great.
Connecting to Will, you know what I mean? It's like she understood, though, and she believed. I feel like that's why I've always loved Joyce, because it's like, as crazy as all of this sounded, she was willing to believe her son, and she was willing to fight for what was going on. She never believed that he was just dead. Like, Joyce, she always knew something else was up. You know?
Joyce in season 1 was huge.
Yeah.
But there are 5 seasons to this show.
Yeah.
And I don't know if she had another, like, she went to Russia to save, Hopper. She also was down with Hopper at the bottom, like in that Russian area, watched Hopper get obliterated, and even though he didn't. She did things. Don't get me wrong. More action for Joyce afterwards. But I think the other thing is she was along with Hopper the whole time. So let's just jump into that.
Hopper.
Where do you want to put Hopper?
I'm saying now, okay, now I'm having a moment here, because now I'm kind of rethinking all this. I'm feeling like maybe we should move Murray down to B first.
I agree with that, by the way.
Yeah, because I know you said that. Now I'm like, okay, I get what you're saying.
I don't know that Murray can really be a character when we're looking at some of these characters that we're about to be dealing with here.
Because I'm thinking Hopper should also go on the C or D before Erica, though. Like, Hopper, though, or C after Joyce. Either one or the other. I don't know.
I will put him C tier after Joyce for now. Yeah. I think that's fair, because while Joyce, I was never, like, she was there. She was fine. I think she was pivotal to season 1. I think Hopper was also pivotal to season 1.
Yeah.
After that, I feel like the Hopper-Joyce love story that didn't need to be, but was the whole way through, like, Hopper just got real annoying. And I'm just not, I was way less interested in his story. And like I said not that long ago, if he had died at the end of season 3, I think that would have been okay.
Yeah. Next one is Nancy. Eric, you go first with Nancy, because I just went first with...
Okay, so this is where we're now getting really into the thick of it here. Okay, like we are now into the crux of the group. And when I consider all of Nancy's storylines and what Nancy did and how she was, I think Nancy becomes high B tier, end of A tier.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I would put her, let's put her above Murray in B tier for now.
Okay. Type fast. Okay. So we'll put her at the very top of B tier for the moment.
Yeah.
Steve.
Oh, I love Steve. Steve, to me, oh man, I'm feeling like Steve is either S tier or A tier.
He's S tier. What are we even saying right now?
Yeah, you can't have the show without Steve Harrington. So
Steve is an S tier character, going all the way back from when he broke Jonathan's camera to the very end, and making up with Dustin and becoming the high school coach and all that. Like,
no doubt,
all the way through was great. And I think not only that, but from a storyline standpoint, he connected to so many different characters' arcs that I feel like it was incredibly important to have Steve as one of
Derek
the top
at the very
characters.
End. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if he's my favorite amongst all the characters, but he's definitely in this area. Yeah. We've got Robin next. Robin, I think, is very tricky. Because Robin showed up at the beginning of season 3, but then was super impactful, I think, the rest of the way.
I really love Robin.
Same.
I would argue that I actually enjoy Robin's character more than Nancy.
Not even close. Not close.
Yeah. Meaning that you like her more too.
Yes. I think
yeah.
Robin is much more enjoyable to watch than Nancy. I think
And she was like funnier, like she was just, yeah.
I think what happened is Nancy through the first 2 seasons before Robin was around was great. I love that Nancy character.
Yep.
But then they brought Robin in and didn't like have her be like a kill off character, like you're going to be part of this group now.
Yep.
And so some of the likability things that Nancy would have had going for her got shifted over to Robin's character.
Yeah.
And Nancy
I
became
guess so.
like a more serious character the rest of the
she
way.
was always serious. She was never that was always her thing.
She was, but there was still like a innocence about her. You know, that was very different in season 1 and 2. And by season 3, Nancy like really hardened up and Robin became like that more lovable, flexible character, I think. So I do have Robin, I would say probably like middle A tier, but I can put her in A tier for now. That I don't think she's S tier, but she's above B tier.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. Yep.
Jonathan.
Okay.
Oh,
Jonathan.
I found that interesting, just the way you started that. With the way you said, okay. Well,
because listen,
I'm just going to move my cursor down towards the bottom.
Yeah, because listen, you guys know that I was a big Jonathan fan when Jonathan first entered the show.
You defended him taking pictures of Nancy and Steve in the woods. I can't believe that.
He's the guy in high school. It's like, oh yeah, I probably would have been friends with him. Like,
you would have been friends with Jonathan for sure.
Like, I guess I understand, like, he was struggling with stuff. Like, he didn't have a ton of friends. Like, I just appreciated where Jonathan was coming from. I found him relatable, sensitive. Like, I liked his perspective. He offered like a different viewpoint, but was also really cared for Nancy and was always very like earnest about his feelings. Anyway, all that being said, I felt like he didn't add a ton to the storyline, other than being a really great older brother to Will. Just throw him in there. I see Eric's already adding him to the F tier.
He's in the F tier.
We have to have someone in there, and it's gonna be Jonathan.
Listen,
it just is.
I thought that I would really love the Jonathan character more. As like this was my first rewatch of it, right? And I remember liking Jonathan a lot on the first watch.
Yeah.
On a second watch, like he just is way more like whiny as the guy that's trying to be with Nancy and is with Nancy, but then like his character is just not great. And then on top of that, you give me season, which one was it? 4? Season 4? Where he just like becomes a stoner and is not part of the story really. Like, I just don't love that for him at all.
Yeah.
Like,
or was that 3? Oh my God. No,
that was 4.
Okay. Yeah.
He was in California.
California.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I always mix that up. Season 3 was the mall. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, season 1, he was really good. I really like his moments with Will. And they show up randomly throughout all the seasons. But like, other than that, I mean, what did he even do at the end?
Yeah, they really should have
Steve.
Him off.
He saved Steve, but like you could have had anybody.
Anyone else could have done that.
Yeah. Could have Nancy do it.
Yeah,
how funny would that have been?
Hey, would have made sense. She had too many guns on her back though to save Steve. So
yeah, Dustin should have done it. To be honest with you,
yeah,
but
Dustin really should have done it.
Dustin should have been the one.
Dustin, and then Lucas could have pulled Dustin up. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Yeah.
There, you could have done that differently. That being said, Jonathan, I'm sorry, you're at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I'll be fair, I don't see anybody else getting down there.
No, I really don't.
But we'll leave it at that. Now we're getting really into it here. The real core group. And so I will start with Max since she was the last to join.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this.
Oh, yes, please. Go ahead.
I think Max is S tier.
Max is awesome. I love Max's character and she added so much to the group. I agree with that. Yeah. I feel like Max is S tier, but the show just would not have been right without her, similar to Steve, you know, it just wouldn't.
It's questionable how much longer the show would have gone without Max. By bringing Max in, you give Lucas a love interest who, without Max, he doesn't have anything going for him. You also give another girl to the group so Max and 11 can have their like moments together without the boys, which totally added a dynamic in season 3.
Yes.
You also get like Max being the one to kind of straight up check the other boys. Like by giving her the personality that she had.
Absolutely.
She's the one keeping Dustin and Will and Mike in check half the time, which is great. Like I just love everything about Max. And then
me too.
For her being the one that kind of has her own story arc of having to come back through Vecna's mind. Awesome. Like I wouldn't have wanted anybody else to be doing that.
Literally the only moment that I didn't like with her was when she was slow motion running, and that wasn't really, that was just poor writing. I don't know what that was about. But I
can forgive that. I know it's bad.
Yeah,
it was
that's
bad,
not
but
Max's fault.
No, that's not her fault. Not to mention, by the way, all the stuff with Billy happens because Max is there.
Oh, yes.
So Max
and Billy was great.
Billy was great. Max is also great. Like it was such a good ad.
But after Steve, S tier, like that. Yeah.
I mean, there's a world in which I would put her above Steve.
Oh.
But
I don't know.
Let's put the rest of these people out here.
Okay. Next is 11.
11.
Okay.
I don't think 11 can be any lower than A tier.
No. 11 was awesome. Obviously, the show, if we talk about like who's needed for the show, 11 obviously is needed.
She becomes S tier in that regard completely.
Yeah.
But I do think there are a lot of moments where it's like, 11, what are you doing? You know, like, can you just straighten out a little bit?
Yeah. But I feel like overall though, I also like her for S tier. Okay. I feel like after Max and Steve, S tier, because I'm looking at the rest of the list. I'm feeling like we have our S tier lockdown.
I think so too. I will put 11 at the end of S tier. I don't think she can go any lower than A.
No.
She's so critical to everything.
Yeah.
But there are moments that I am not a huge fan of hers. I don't think she's better than Max. I don't think she's better than Steve. And you're right.
No.
To like, I mean, listen, we've got other characters here, but I don't think any of them are jumping ahead of that crew.
I don't think so either. Because we have Mike next. And listen, we had a very like hot and cold relationship with Mike Wheeler.
Mike is a very interesting cat.
I loved him at the end. Like I thought they did an excellent job with closing out. I'm like, okay, way to end things on a nice note for Mike.
And that's the problem. Like the way I remember Mike is now at the end, and Mike at the end was great.
Yeah.
He was really good.
In reality though, I don't know if I'd put him above, like, would you put him above Nancy? I don't know.
It's hard.
I don't know if I wouldn't put him above Murray. I liked Murray more. So
Mike is, on his best days, so much better than Nancy. but
Yeah.
on his worst days, way worse than Nancy's worst.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think he has to go like near Nancy.
I'm putting him. If I had my druthers, I would put him between Nancy and Murray.
I'm just gonna slap him into B here, and we can reshuffle this when we go through at the end.
Okay. That's
okay. So now let's talk about Lucas.
okay. Lucas, I would put Lucas in A tier. I'm putting him above Robin. I really like Lucas. I feel like I'd put him above Robin in the A tier.
So,
but I also understand if you wanted to put him after Robin in the A tier. Or somewhere else entirely.
I'll type him in next to Robin, but I will say this about Lucas. I feel like he could disappear for half a season. You wouldn't have even known that he was gone.
But then when he was there, it was like, man,
he had great moments, but at the same time, like if you told me that he was a C tier character, I wouldn't even question that. And so I don't know that he can be an A tier person.
Okay.
I just don't. I love the idea. Because his highs are great, and him
I
with
liked
Max
him more than Mike, though. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I liked what he did more than Mike.
You liked what he did more than Mike. Yes.
Like there weren't ever any moments where I was like, "Oh my God, Lucas! Like, you're a mess." You know what I mean? Whereas
agree.
Mike, I'm like, "Dude, Mike, like get your shit."
There were
like,
definitely some moments like that. Let's slap him into B. And again, we'll reorder this B as we go through.
Okay.
But here, we've got Dustin next. And I will put Dustin into A tier.
Okay, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I think Dustin is the best of the core group of kids.
And Dustin, to me, has got to go above Robin in A tier.
Yeah. Yes. I think so. I think that's fair. Dustin, just with everything that he did. Now, don't get me wrong. I really disliked Dustin in two moments. One, trying to fight the bullies for Eddie's behalf. That was silly. And then the storyline where he was holding on to Dart and lying to his friends at the beginning of season 2.
Bad.
That was also bad. But those were both fairly short-lived.
Yes. And quite necessary for the whole storyline. You know what I mean? Like they always had to have Dustin kind of be a little bit of a loose cannon in those moments. I
think it brought some realism to who Dustin was, and you could see his character,
the scientist,
being that way for science with Dart, and then with the second part, it was that he was such a good friend to Eddie that he would be the one trying to like stand up for him. I'm okay with that.
Okay.
How about Will? Will, I think, is going to be a weird spot.
Will, you know that my favorite moment was when Will became the sorcerer. Like, to me, that was unbelievable. I also love Will in the shed. Like in the very first season,
but that's like
taken by the
3 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. So, but these moments, it's just funny because the highlights of the show, like my favorite moments, were totally centered around Will.
Yeah.
That being said, Will also had some of the moments where I'm like, dude, oh God, like this is a lot. Will, I'm thinking, specifically of like the roller rink scene with him making it all about himself and he hasn't come out yet, but he's struggling with it. And it becomes more about Will's identity. And it's like, okay, like I just felt like it was a lot in those moments. Will was being, I felt like very selfish, and not thinking of the bigger picture at all. And not protecting his friend, like not helping 11. And that just felt like it was also very against who Will really was. So it didn't add up to me. I really struggled with what they did with writing Will's character. I also didn't love how they rolled out his coming out in the end. I thought that was very important to the storyline. We needed to have it, but I wish they had just done it in a different way and not made it like one of the final moments of the entire series.
Well, so
that's my take on that.
On a rewatch, I'll say that the first watch through, I was not picking up the breadcrumbs that they were laying down in season 4, that he was, that he was going to be coming out in season 5. I viewed all of this as just Will feeling like he's losing his friends and wanting things to be the way that they were for the most part. Maybe when he had that conversation with Mike in the car, but I'm still not sure that I picked that up the first time through. On a rewatch, it was painfully obvious that that's what all that was. But it all kind of just seemed weird for Will in that season 4 stretch. I think Will's character in season 5 was much better. But the biggest thing... Yeah. The biggest issue that I have with Will is that in season 1 and largely in season 2, he's not really a character. He's like the damsel in distress.
It's so I feel like Will should go in C tier above Joyce.
He can't be below Joyce.
No.
But I agree with you putting him in C tier. I think that's where he belongs. I think he should have been at the end of the series where he finishes is amazing.
Will and as a whole, listen, I love Will's character and I feel like he does add a really interesting element. I feel like it's really dynamic. I like that they added if he's letting go of his struggles, he's coming out, he's becoming himself. This actually heightens his power. He's like tapping into the light and becoming more powerful because of it. I just felt like the way that they rolled it out, I don't know. I just feel like it didn't really do the character a service. I think it, and again, it's really, when I think back, I'm like, that roller rink scene, I don't know. I just really disliked the whole California storyline. I think with Will, with Eleven, I really didn't like it for any of them. I didn't like Mike really in a lot of those moments either. It was a little bit rough, but maybe that is par for the course for them, struggling with their teenage years initially, and I don't know.
That. I mean, it was good to see Eleven, working through all her stuff when she gets taken by Dr. Owens to the lab.
And I think that was wrong the best part. To put Will below Nancy though. Now I'm looking at our list and I'm like,
well, let's try and order some of this. So let's start at the top. We have in order in the S tier, Steve, then Max, then 11. We like this?
Yeah.
I
like
so.
that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would maybe argue my personal list might have Max above Steve.
Okay.
But only so slightly. So I'm okay here with Steve, Max, 11.
Okay.
A tier becomes Dustin and then Robin. B tier. Now, we said we would reshuffle this.
Yeah.
We've got Nancy, Murray, Mike, and Lucas. I think the top of this tier is... Oh, man. I might go Murray, Mike, Nancy, Lucas.
Yeah. Or even Mike, Murray, Nancy, Lucas. Because even though we dislike, I don't know, it's tough.
Okay, I'm okay with that. We'll flip the
Mike,
Wheelers
Murray,
here.
Nancy, Lucas, yeah.
So Mike first, then Murray, then Nancy, then Lucas, all in the B tier. Before we get to the C tier, which is Will, then Joyce and Hopper. And the D tier, only because we're filling all the tiers here, becomes Erica. And F tier is Jonathan. And that's kind of where we rest our tier list. I'm pretty happy with that.
I think that feels right. I think that feels right. I could like flip flop on a couple of them, but we could be here all day. I mean, it's
no. And if we were doing this like among all characters, like let's face it, all of these characters would end up like in the no lower than the B tier. But we're doing this just with the main characters. That way we can actually get some differentiation between them.
That's right. Nice.
So with that, we're going to start talking about our favorite episodes from the series.
Okay.
So now, I guess this would be our IMDb portion of the segment, where we talk about the ratings of our show and what we've liked and what we didn't like and how we stack it up next to your ratings. Except we've rated everything already. So with that, last episode we talked about our favorite and least favorite characters from the series as a whole. Amanda and I now have all sorts of markings on this spreadsheet about where we had our favorite episodes all time throughout this whole thing. And listen, there are some that are the same and there are some that are a little different. I will give you my top 5. And then Amanda can give you her top 5, and we'll give you the IMDb top 5. And maybe we'll just kind of discuss some of the things that we find interesting about that. But my top 5 in order is Season 4, Episode 7, The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, followed by, which I give a 10, followed by Season 4, Episode 9, The Piggyback, which I give a 9.9. Then Season 5, Episode 4, which I gave a 9.8, which was Sorcerer. Then it was Season 4, Episode 4, Dear Billy, which I gave a 9.3. And the 5th highest episode was actually back in Season 2, Episode 9, The Gate, which I gave a 9.22.
And we have a lot of similarities in this list. It's funny. So my highest rated, which was flip-flopped with your first two highest rated, because mine was The Piggyback, which was your second. The Piggyback I gave, which was Season 4, Episode 9, I gave a 10 to that one. And then The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, which was Season 4, Episode 7, I gave a 9.8. Similarly, I gave a 9.8 to The Sorcerer, which was Season 5, Episode 4. But then I also gave my next two highest rated, which were both in the 9s as well. Which were both equally 9.5, were The Upside Down and The Right Side Up. So The Upside Down,
funny.
Yeah, which was Season 1, Episode 8. I gave that one a 9.5. And then The Upside Down, The Right Side Up, which was Season 5, Episode 8, that finale, I also gave a 9.5. So it's, I had two 9.8s, two 9.5s, and a 10 as my top 5. So,
and I will run these down in no particular order. These were the IMDb top episodes, all of which earned at least a 9.3. I will go down in chronological order.
Okay.
Season 1, Episode 8, The Upside Down. Season 2, Episode 9, The Gate. Season 3, Episode 8, Battle of Starcourt Mall. All of those, the finales of Season 1, Season 2, Season 3.
Yes. Yeah, interesting.
Then, Season 4, Dear Billy, which was Episode 4, and The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, which was Episode 7. And then in the final season, Episode 4, Sorcerer. These were all at least 9.3 rated. The number 1 episode by IMDb was The Massacre at Hawkins Lab, which we both had either first or second. It was easily the best.
That episode,
in my opinion,
was amazing. Yeah, honestly, that episode, and I know it's like I gave The Piggyback a 10 because I also feel like that one. I mean, those were like neck and neck. I was actually kind of surprised that the people rated that one a 9.2. Listen, 9.2 is still an excellent rating, but I just felt like, wow, there was nothing wrong with that episode.
The piggyback would have been the 8th favorite episode of the people.
Yeah.
It just missed the cusp. But listen, the piggyback was the one. If we're having a hard time remembering, this is where Lucas is in the attic fighting Jason while Max is up in the sky, like fighting Vecna. 11 is fighting Vecna in Vecna's like Creel house from California in the bathtub. We've got Hopper taking on Demogorgons in Russia. We've got Eddie's guitar solo. The Nancy Steve Jonathan group is like going through. Not Jonathan, Nancy Steve Robin group is going through the Creel house trying to fight Vecna while he's in his hive state. It was a really great episode. The reason I like the Massacre at Hawkins Lab a little bit better is I think the reveal of Henry being Vecna is the peak moment in Stranger Things. If I had done a March Madness bracket, which I didn't, Amanda did, that would have been my winner for sure. That was just pinnacle Stranger Things moment. And so that's why I had that number 1. You had it number 2. I mean, the fans have it number 1 as well. And I don't have any complaints about that. Sorcerer, we just talked about it. Will becoming the Sorcerer, everybody loves that. Nobody disliked that.
Oh, amazing. Like, epic moment. The most epic moment to me. That's the one that I rated as the highest moment. I feel like it just, I loved it. It was just perfect. It was finally, because as we were just talking about with the favorite the favorite characters rather, it's like we had to have that moment for poor Will. Like, it's like Will has been treated like just the victim throughout the entire series. Joyce has been like keeping him on a leash, and like, it's like he's just been held down. He's always has to be rescued by someone. It's like, no, Will is going to rescue y'all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he is going to be the one to like, to hold the power, because he really has this entire time. So I loved that for him so much. It was so satisfying.
And I just think looking at those 3 episodes, those are universally, easily the best 3 episodes from the series.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my other 2 that I had, and you also had them highly rated, as did the people. That was Dear Billy and The Gate. Whether or not they were your top 5 or not is somewhat irrelevant. But let's point out this one, which is The Right Side Up, the finale. This was one of your favorite episodes, and it was definitely, as we're going to go into, one of the 5 lowest rated episodes by the people.
Yeah.
So, let's just mention that quickly. Amanda, I'll give you the floor. Why would you say this is one of the best episodes in Stranger Things?
I just felt like, in my opinion, they did a great job of just wrapping things up. I felt like, as rough as episodes 6 and 7 were going into the finale, I was really happy with how things tied up at the end. And I didn't really have too many criticisms outside of, I mean, we talked about a lot of them, but I didn't have any things where I was like, wow, this show is like destroyed for me now. Thanks, Duffer Brothers. Like, you just ruined my life. Like, no, that's not how I felt at all. I felt like, that I liked how they ended, the story with Mike's story about the mage. I felt like they did a good job of just, like, giving good conclusions for really our main characters. So I liked it. I thought that it did a good balance of action and then story development, and concluding what we were looking to have things finish off for these characters. So I don't know. I just felt like it was a good balance, and I feel like if it wasn't the series finale and it wasn't just teed off by the 2 episodes before this, that it would have been rated higher by the people.
I will say I gave it an 8.6, which I split definitely right between you. And I did take some criticism from my wife earlier, who was like, you gave this an 8.6, like thinking that I should have been much higher on it.
Okay.
And if I could go back in time, I probably would push it up to a 9.
Okay.
I'm not going to obviously change these things. They're what they are. But, you know, a 9, like, it was a very good finale. Like, I am not disappointed in it. And I know, like, it got a 7.5, and I am willing to bet that there are a ton of people who went into IMDb and clicked 0.
Right.
You know,
just
or 1
they're upset that it's over.
They're upset that either it's over, or they are upset that it didn't end exactly the way that they wanted it to end, or they didn't get the one interaction that they were hoping for, or more people should have died, or whatever. Because, like, it's funny to me that Sorcerer gets a 9.3, one of the best rated episodes, which shows you how on board everybody was with the series, you know, finale as it was moving. And then it just came to a crashing halt on the Christmas and New Year's Day releases. The last 4 episodes were all under 8, including the lowest, which is a 5.6. So let me roll into that. Those are the worst 5 episodes of Stranger Things. For the people, they are those last 5. Well, the last 4 episodes: Shock Jock, Escape from Camazotz, The Bridge, The Right Side Up.
Wow.
Along with The Crawl, which was the first one from season 5.
Okay. Yep.
And then I have to add in season 3, episode 1, Susie, Do You Copy? And obviously season 2, episode 7, The Lost Sister. The Lost Sister and The Bridge being easily the lowest. The rest of them virtually being tied. All of those are there. Those are the only episodes that the people gave less than an 8 rating to.
Yeah.
I understand it. I don't think they were as bad as what the people, you know, gave them. I will say that 2 of those episodes, The Crawl and Escape from Camazotz, were 2 of my lowest rated episodes as well. I really disliked The Crawl. I felt like we were launching into a story that I had no idea what we were doing. Like, I recognize the characters, but I don't understand what this is. That they like just assumed that everything would be translated. So once I gathered that episode, the rest of the season made a ton of sense to me. And I think we see this with the fans also. The second and third and fourth episodes were much higher. But that first episode, it feels like the gap between season 4, episode 9, The Piggyback, and where The Crawl is, it could have been years of difference.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, really the only 2 that stood out to me as being not great were The Lost Sister, so
notable.
The one with Kali.
Yep.
And The Bridge, the second to last. And really, I think it's more of a timing thing than anything for The Bridge, because I thought it was fine, but I gave it a 7.2 because it just was all talking and nothing was happening. And it's like, this is the second to last episode of the series. You gotta be kidding me. You know what I mean? It's sort of like, okay. And on the rewatch, it wasn't like, again, it's not anything horrible. I just was wanting more at that point of the series.
So I will say on a rewatch, I gave it an 8.1. I am way higher than everybody else on that episode. And it was the worst episode on IMDb, which was a 5.6.
Ooh, wow.
I will just say,
I was shocked.
I feel like that episode on a rewatch actually wasn't nearly as bad as I remembered it being.
Sure.
I
feel
you knew
like what was going to happen.
I knew what was coming.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of the conversations that transpired were required. I think they made sense to the story. They helped move even the Will coming out section, which I think people hated. I think people hated the fact that he had to come out to everybody all at once and like, hey, right before we're about to save the world, guys. If I could just gather everybody up real quick, people hated that.
It felt very unnatural. It felt very unnatural. Yeah.
But I will say, in a world in which Will, as a new sorcerer, is now going to be going head to head against Vecna and knows that Vecna uses all of his internal fears against him, having the ability to go into the final battle with a clear mind, with no worries about fear of this kind around him, I think that was important to then lay that out before the final battle. Now, could they have done it earlier in the season? Yes, they could have.
I think it would have added more to Will's character, too, to do it earlier. You wouldn't have had to drag this out and added more. It's like more hero moments for Will, too, right? It's like, yeah.
I mean, they certainly could have worked. I think that there was an opportunity for them to work that out probably in episode 5 or 6. Or if you had 9 episodes, because The Right Side Up was a 2-hour and 20-minute episode, you could have done 2 episodes there. You could have done the final episode just be the after the battle, but I don't know how many people would have cared to watch that episode.
Right? Yeah.
So to me, I'd say, hey, watch it again on a rewatch and tell me if you still think it was the worst one. I just don't think that's the case. I think The Lost Sister was way more out of place. That was my lowest episode. Still, I was higher than most, but I also thought, and I'll say this, Trick or Treat Freak was episode 2. This is the one where they're going trick or treating, and then Will runs away because he sees the mind flayer in the store, and
Max
then has to
was
run,
tagging along.
I don't know. That episode never has some nostalgic moments, but otherwise it was only okay.
I like that one.
So
okay. Yeah. Okay.
That was one of my lower ones.
I got it. So did you enjoy this rewatch, and would you rewatch it again?
Okay, so this is the first time we've come to a series finale and ended and wrapped up the whole thing. And Amanda and I are hoping to answer this exact question for every series we do. Would you rewatch it again? And so I will say this. I am so glad that we rewatched Stranger Things. I think it was awesome. I had a blast doing it. And so if you have not rewatched Stranger Things, I couldn't suggest more that you do. If you watched it once and you were really mad at the finale, go back from the beginning and just blast through it. And you will, I think, really enjoy it.
Yeah, now, more perspective on
absolutely,
all the different things.
And I think knowing all the things that you know at the end, you start seeing these things so much earlier. Like in season 2, they start laying out some of the stuff from the finale.
Oh yeah.
That being said, would I rewatch it again? I think at this point, I probably personally wouldn't.
Yeah, right.
I think giving it a rewatch is great. This is not a show, though, that I feel like I want to put on and just throw in the background and rewatch.
No, that would be a lot. Yeah.
I think you're just missing too much. And so is this, maybe it's something that, hey, the kids want to watch it for the first time and I'm going to rewatch it with them. Oh, for sure. But there are so many other shows I think I would put on just to have more fun with. You need to be focused in on watching these shows. And so since I know all of the details and I've gone through it all a second time, I don't know that this would be one that I would go back to a third, fourth, fifth, sixth time. Amanda, your thoughts?
For me, it would have to be a while from now. I'm not going to put it completely, say I would never rewatch it. But if say, I have a friend that's hey, I'm thinking about watching this and I would love to watch it along with someone or even have someone to talk about it with as I rewatch it. And it's been a while from now and it's it's really not super fresh. Although now that we've done all of these deep dives, I feel like it is these are going to be a lot more lasting memories, and I'm going to remember a lot of these details a lot more vividly than I ever did before.
For sure.
Yeah, but I feel like I might rewatch it like years down the line, or say like there's some other reboot of Stranger Things, right? And it's like, oh, I kind of want to revisit like at least some of it to like recap, hey, what happened in the final season, and like rewatch that or something along those lines,
I think both you and I are saying the same thing, which is like, if there is an outside presence that's saying like, hey, hey, do you want to watch this? Like, I've never seen it. Like, I want to like hang out. Oh, absolutely. Sure. I'm down to watch it. But just me picking it to watch again, it's not really the show that I would do that with. It's kind of like, anytime that it is a big dramatic show or there's like a twist ending or there's these things that like are big moments, like once you've seen them, or even like we've now rewatched the whole thing again and seen them a second time, like the impact of those huge moments is so less. It's just not as exciting.
Yeah, and I had also watched the first 3 seasons twice already before this rewatch. So, like, it was my first time rewatching the 4th and 5th, but I had already seen the first 3 a couple times. So it's like, all right, like, again, I would just need some time. I wouldn't seek it out, but I wouldn't be totally closed off to it either.
Hey,
great show. Super happy that we did this. So
I will say, if you wanted to say, hey, which season would you just watch on repeat over and over? It's season 4.
Okay, your season. Okay, I thought you were going to say Mallrats. I thought you were going to do
I'll skip on Mallrats, though. Okay. Because, listen, getting Eddie involved, and you get Eddie. You get Eddie, you get Robin, you get them going through the Upside Down. They're diving into the water with the thing. Jason's chasing them. The whole town is after him. Yeah. At the same time, you're getting the like 11 putting Henry into the Upside Down. You get the Vecna reveal. You do the piggyback where Lucas is fighting Jason in the attic while Hopper is like fighting a Demogorgon with a sword, apparently.
Yes.
That would be the season I would go back and watch.
Season 4 is the best, I would argue. Yeah.
Yes, that's why I would watch it. That being said, for nostalgic purposes, I'm watching season 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like season 1 when the kids are really young is more enjoyable.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
I think when the kids are older, it definitely puts a spin on it.
Right. Right. Yeah.
What about you?
Show.
Is there a season that you would watch?
So, I feel like it's weird. In a strange way, I feel like if I were to just watch one season 3 kind of like stands on its own a little bit. I feel like you could almost watch season 3 in like a vacuum, and it's like, oh, like these, it's like, it's the mall season. Yep. So it's like it has Billy, and it's kind of, we don't know if Hopper is dead, and like, we have that a cliffhanger at the end, and Joyce is packing up the crew to leave for California at the end. But before that, we're introduced to Erica, we're introduced to Robin, we have Steve kind of becoming this new character that we love, we have the moment with Susie and the Neverending Story song. I liked a lot of like the funnier kind of like, it was a little bit lighter, in some ways, although we did have the extreme darkness of Billy's storyline. So it was both things, but
season 3 is season 5 is the lowest rated season easily. They only have 1 episode that made it above 9 and 5 below 8. But season 3 only has 1 episode above 9. It is the finale, the Battle of Starcourt Mall. And the first 2 season, Susie Do Copy and Mallrats, were both under an 8, which is very low. As it is, overall, just for our final notes here, the IMDb ratings, as we saw them, the average ends up being an 8.44. Amanda, you gave it an 8.65 overall, and I had it as an 8.62. So the two of us are very close. I would say you put it over the top on the final episode being a full point higher than me. But yeah, that's about it. Is there anything else that we need to wrap on this?
Oh man. No, I think we've said it all. We've said all the things. I feel like we could go on and on about this show. It's really great. I mean, thank you guys so much for those of you who have been listening to us throughout all of these episodes. Really appreciate you listening in. If you're just catching up with us now to hear what our wrap up was like, please, we'd love your feedback on the earlier episodes from Stranger Things, or if you have any other questions and you want us to give more feedback, hey, we could always pop in another follow-up if people still have other questions out there, want us to touch on any other things. We're never closed off to it, right?
No,
if
there are people out there that just have questions about Stranger Things and want to hear us answer them, send them to us. We've got reruns@gmail.com you could send it to. You could post a comment on any of our Stranger Things videos. We'll find them there. We will create another one if there is enough demand for it. But with that, don't forget that our next show that we're planning on doing is The Big Bang Theory, and that show will just replace this Stranger Things time slot. So you will be able to hear Big Bang Theory content starting next week with this slot. Well, thank you so much for listening to the We Run on Reruns podcast. If you could check out our socials, our Instagram and YouTube, you could subscribe, you could follow, you could repost, you could like, you could do all the fun things you like to do on social media. We really appreciate all of the support we're seeing there. And again, we would appreciate those 5-star ratings, both on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you find your podcast players. Not to mention, you could find our Patreon at We Run on Reruns. We would really appreciate your support there as well. For Amanda, this is Eric. Listen, we're done with Stranger Things, so there's no more Stranger Things episodes to go to. So if you want to keep track of us, we are now bouncing over to The Big Bang Theory starting next week, or you also have our Friends episodes that are coming out this week as well. Happy rerunning, everybody.
See you later, guys.